So we're going over to the Supreme Court now. So they just recently heard a little obscure case that they heard that has people ringing alarm bells, and industry insiders are saying that people could use this case to put a bullet in rescheduling just like they did with old Yeller. Nobody wants that. So since 1984, there's been this thing called the Chevron deference doctrine, right? It's this thing where when the Congress passes a law and they leave room for interpretation in there, the courts have an obligation to listen to the regulatory agency that it falls under to know how to kind of interpret that law and how to proceed, right? So say marijuana is illegal, the DEA is the one in charge of regulating it, so they're going to step in and tell the courts how to proceed there. That's kind of how that's going to work. So with this latest decision, they've recently overturned Chevron and taken a big chunk of the DEA's power to regulate cannabis away from them, right? So obviously marijuana regulation has been a nightmare across the country for a while. Nobody's arguing that. You know, between federal law and state law and all the landmines that are in between. And the regulatory framework of marijuana has been kind of figuring it out as it goes along. Remember, guys, we've been building this thing from scratch. There was nothing here before, and it's definitely been a bumpy road, right? So this sounds great. Hell yeah, like let's reduce regulation. Let's let marijuana industry grow organically. Why not, right? But the reason insiders are so upset about this is that the overturning of Chevron opens the door for Congress to step in and weigh in on the rescheduling process, right? So up until now, rescheduling has been a regulatory process, right? We're not changing the law. Marijuana stays illegal. So the DEA is the body in charge of marijuana. So they are the ones deciding which schedule it is regulated under, not what the law says, right? So now, after this, now it allows with Chevron gone, it allows the Congress to kind of step in and say, oh, guys, I don't think we should be doing it like this. So it all of a sudden becomes a legislative issue, right, that Congress has to step in and vote on. So we all know if Congress has to agree on something, it's almost a guarantee that it will never get done. And rescheduling will die right there, right where opponents can get their filthy little hands on it. Either they can vote it down or they can tie it up in courts in the appeals process ad infinitum for years and years ahead. So obviously the DEA has not been a great captain behind the wheel of legalization, right? But have prohibitionists really found a way to tear away the modest, tiny little victory that rescheduling was going to be for us? Man, well, not everybody is all calling doom and gloom here, okay? Some people are saying that is not how this is going to go down. So it is not as easy as everyone is saying to override the DEA, with or without Chevron there. And they've been chipping away at Chevron for years. So they're saying by the time they killed it, it was chock full of holes anyway. And in court, like when the DEA goes to court, they don't even use it as a defense anymore. So it's pretty much been thrown out as it is. So even though the DEA can be overruled here, the courts have been instructed to show significant deference to the agency's ruling. So they need a very good reason to argue with them. So yeah, there is some wiggle room there, but it's not going to be the free-for-all people are afraid of. They've also been instructed to show significant deference to the Department of Justice. And the Department of Justice is a part of the White House, right? And they are pushing for rescheduling hard. So that's even less room for them to get in there and do some damage. So yes, nothing is for certain right now. You know, in the coming months, we're going to see how this whole flag unfurls. But I'll tell you one thing. The water is murkier than it's ever been, and it does make me just a little touch nervous.